Now, what is salary sacrifice? Salary sacrifice, if I can say the words properly. Hello and welcome back to this mini-series on the things I wish I knew when I was 20. Okay, if you've missed the previous ones I've done in this mini-series on investing and on the things I wish I knew about money making, I'm going to link to them below and above for you to head over and check them out. Today though, we're going to be talking about the things I wish I knew about pensions when I was 20. I'm going to be sharing 5 different things that would have been completely game-changing for me had I known them when I was 20. And these things, I hope, if you understand them today, will be game-changing for you as you invest more into your pensions and save towards your retirement. You see, I used to view pensions very skeptically when I was in my 20s. I just saw them as very confusing and I was very doubtful about investing into a pension. Something about not having access to my money until I was much older just seemed completely wrong to me. But the thing I've learned about pensions is that the more I get answers to the really difficult and often complicated questions about pensions, the more I see investing into my pension as more of an advantage rather than a disadvantage instead. If you're loving the sound of today's video, I'd love for you to do me a massive favor and please hit that like button, because believe it or not, it really helps in getting our videos promoted to so many more people. This video has been very kindly sponsored by PensionBee, which I'm going to be speaking to you about a bit later on when my incredible wife Mary comes on this particular video to share her personal experience of moving her own pension to PensionBee. But everything I'm sharing on this video is entirely my own view, my own perspective, based on my experience of investing into pensions. For anyone who's new to our channel, my name is Ken of the Humble Penny and Financial Joy Academy. What we do on this channel is give you guys the tips, the insights, the practical hacks to help you take control of your money, grow your money, and work towards creating for yourself a dream life of financial independence and money joy. All right, let's dive in and explore these 5 things I wish I knew about pensions when I was 20. The very first one is that pensions give you a refund on the tax that you've already paid. Now, what do I mean by this and why does it even matter? You see, when I was 20, I wish I really understood that pensions are effectively a tax-free environment. Yes, you do pay tax eventually when you come to withdraw your money from a pension. Potentially many decades down the line, you do get a 25% lump sum and then pay tax on the remainder. But putting money into your pension and investing that money is a tax-free environment. And to the point about putting money into your pensions being a form of a refund on tax, let me explain what I mean using an example, okay? Imagine that you've earned your net income. Your money has hit your bank account and you've decided to take some of that money, as an example, and put it into a pension. When you put that money into a pension, you get a bonus back from the government, okay? Now, to illustrate and as an example, imagine you were trying to put £100 into your pension right now and you're a basic rate taxpayer. It would only cost you £80 to actually put £100 into that pension. Why? Because the government give you a 20% tax rebate, a form of a bonus in effect, because you would already have paid that £20 tax on the £100 initially. So they're in effect giving you back that £20 tax that you would have suffered in order to get that £80 net income into your bank account. In the same way, for someone who's a higher rate taxpayer, for them to put £100 into a pension, it would only cost them £60. And for someone who's an additional rate taxpayer, for them to put £100 into a pension would only cost them £55. So you can start to see already how massively tax efficient putting money into a pension can become, particularly if you're someone who is a higher rate taxpayer or an additional rate taxpayer. It works for you even more because you're getting those huge rebates by paying your money into a pension. Using an illustration, using a much larger amount, imagine it was £10,000 instead of £100 that you were putting into your pension. £10,000 into a pension would cost a basic rate taxpayer £8,000, it will cost the higher rate taxpayer £6,000, and it will cost the additional rate taxpayer £5,500, because with each one of those different tax levels, you are getting much higher tax rebates from the government, which again is back to you being given back the tax that you would have been charged originally in order for you to get paid your net income. But because you're putting that money into a pension, the government is rewarding you for investing for your retirement by giving you back that tax as a form of a bonus. So in my 20s, I wish I took my pensions a bit more seriously, because as my income increased, I would have received more of my tax paid as rebates back to me, boosting my pension contributions further and preparing me much better for retirement. We've done a super detailed video on all things pension. If you're someone who's new to pensions, I'm going to link to that below as well as above. Head over there and check out that guide, because it walks you through everything you need to know as a complete beginner to pensions. The second thing I wish I knew when I was 20 was that pensions can be consolidated in different ways. One of the biggest frustrations I personally had when it comes to managing a pension, when I eventually started to take it seriously, was that I had pensions from different employers. And I just really did not like every single year having to manage the admin around these various different pensions from different providers. In fact, sometimes I'd even forget that I had a pension somewhere and eventually remember and go and look it up to see what the performance was and what the fees were. It was just a bit of a burden until I realized that you could actually consolidate your pensions into one if you wanted. And I started that process myself, which was quite a painful process in many ways, because it took me about 4 months to contact various providers myself, get all the forms filled out and get my pensions consolidated. Some of the benefits of consolidating your pensions are that it makes it a lot easier to manage, and it could also reduce your overall admin costs of running your pension. But before you go ahead and try to consolidate your pension, you should definitely watch out for exit fees, particularly if you've got a pension scheme that started before 2001. One company that does an amazing job in helping to consolidate all your older pensions into one scheme is PensionBee. My wife Mary and the other half of Humble Penny moved her pension over to PensionBee, and I'll now hand over to her to share her personal experience and why she actually chose to do that.
Hey guys, I recently moved my pension over to PensionBee, and right now I just want to show you how easy it was to do that. Okay, so I went over to pensionbee.com. I clicked on our services and selected combine. I then scrolled down to the bottom of the page and selected get started. I then entered in my personal details. Be sure to have your personal details at hand, like your national insurance number, your policy number, and your current pension provider. So I entered in more personal information, as well as my phone number and my address, and then hit next. And then I selected my current pension provider from the drop-down list provided and hit submit. I then entered in my policy number and then submit. Here I entered in my signature. Be sure to click on the terms and conditions carefully before hitting next. And then that's it. PensionBee then began the transfer process. You can see the progress. It happens so quickly, just like that. It shows my transfer status, and that's literally it, guys. They say it takes 5 minutes, but it took less than 5 minutes. Get started with PensionBee by clicking on the links below in this video.
Okay, so the third thing I wish I knew was that pensions make your money work a lot harder. And the point here is that when you invest your money into your pension, because of that rebate you get back that I mentioned earlier, you have so much more of your money at work compared to, say, putting your money into an ISA, which, by the way, is a great way for you to invest your money. But with a pension, you have more of that tax rebate coming back, and therefore so much more of your money at work, potentially for decades, before you then need access to that money in order to withdraw it for your retirement. Note, as I mentioned before, that when you invest your money into a pension, as the rules stand at the moment, the earliest you can access your pension for retirement purposes is from the age of 55, but that's going to be increasing to the age of 57 from the year 2028. I'd highly recommend a video we made previously on investing in a pension versus investing in an ISA. This is definitely worth your while checking out. I'll link to that video below for you to head over and check it out. All right, so next is that pensions can be boosted by matched employer contributions. Now, I know this is a benefit that's not available to everybody, but it's definitely one that I'm sure is available to quite a lot of people who are watching this video right now. The thing about matched employer contributions was that when I was in my 20s, I was working for a company that offered matched pension contributions. But at that time of my life, I was trying to save up to buy a property and stuff like that. So for me, my priority back then was really trying to have as much of my net income as I could in order to put towards trying to save for a deposit on a property. And on reflection, the competing needs for our money when we're in our 20s is one that I'm sure that you can probably relate to right now. And I'm sure it's something that people are struggling with right now, even in their 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond. There's always something competing for our money, and making the right decisions for our present life at the moment whilst also trying to prioritize our future retirement is one that requires some careful consideration. On reflection though, if I had to go back and actually make that decision again, I wish I took up the matched employer contributions, because basically it's in effect free money coming from an employer. And why wouldn't you take up free money? If you're offered employer matching by your current employer, you should absolutely do everything you can to make sure you take up that free money from your employer. The beauty of managing your finances at this stage of your life is that you've got channels like this, we're actually sharing this information with you in order to help you take the necessary steps that will help you in the future. If you're getting employer matching with your current place of employment, definitely make sure you take it up. If you're not getting it at the moment, do make sure you inquire, ask the questions, because you just never know. It might be something that might exist, but you just might not even know that it exists at your current workplace. Okay, the final thing I wish I knew is that pensions can be salary sacrificed. Oh man, this is a topic that many people find so complicated. Now, what is salary sacrifice? Salary sacrifice, if I can say the words properly, is where you give up a proportion of your monthly pre-tax income and your employer takes that and puts it towards your pension on your behalf. Now, why is salary sacrifice compelling? There are a few reasons. I'll just share 3 of them with you. The first one is that when you do salary sacrifice, your pension contribution comes out from the top of your income, comes out gross, which then means that your tax is then based on a lower gross earnings, as well as national insurance being based on the lower earnings as well. As a result of this, your net income actually increases a little bit as a result of paying lower tax and lower national insurance. An alternative to getting a slightly higher net income is to actually keep your net income the same from your salary sacrifice, but instead putting all those savings into your pension as a way of boosting your pension contributions further. The key point I'm making with this very first point is that your lifestyle is not worse off by you actually choosing to do salary sacrifice. That's the key thing. The second reason it's compelling is that you actually contribute more into your pensions by your employer giving you savings from their employer's national insurance. So again, think about it, because you're sacrificing part of your gross income, your employer's national insurance, which is based on that lower gross amount, is also lower. So your employer therefore has some savings when it comes to national insurance. Some employers choose to actually give their employees that additional NI saving as a contribution to their pension. But I do have to mention, this is not all employers who do this. So do definitely check out your current employer to see if this is something that they currently have in place. And the third advantage is that your employer's costs actually stay the same, i.e. their total cost before giving you salary sacrifice and their total cost after actually stays the same. So your employer's not worse off, you are not worse off, in fact you are better off, and this is exactly what makes salary sacrifice for pensions a win-win result. There are also many other advantages for people who are higher rate taxpayers, who might have child benefit, or people who earn more than £100,000, and using salary sacrifice as a way for them to potentially reduce their effective rate of tax. We've made a very detailed video on salary sacrifice. If you'd love to learn a lot more about it, I'll link to that video below for you to head over and check it out and get started. Guys, if you've not already liked this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button, because it really just helps to get this video promoted to so many more people. If you know one other person who you think will take value away from today's video, I'd appreciate you actually sharing this video with just one other person to help them make better decisions about their pensions and retirement as well. As usual, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. What one thing do you wish you knew about pensions when you were 20? Jump in the comments and let me know. It'll be really fascinating to actually hear what you guys also think about pensions on reflection. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's video, and as ever, in all things, be thankful and seek joy. Take care and bye for now.